I'm over here eating, and this is. I told you I didn't. I smelled shit in the air with that fucking Somali shit, man. There's some wild shit coming
Israel
out.
says Mossad was behind the Somali fraud story. Really? It causes mass outrage in the United States. Boy, has it. Israel claims money going to terrorism. Israel claims Qatar is behind it. Israel built military site in Somaliland. So you see how they're all working together? Daycare scandal that's happening in Minneapolis, Minnesota. That's happening in Minnesota. Right now, I'm going to show you this. And
I kept saying something wasn't rubbing me right. This is too perfect. The timing, man. Like it seems like something that if we would have seen it already, it would have been known before. It would have been just that prevalent and not ignored. I said in the video too, how is this going to tie back to like the synagogues and shit? It doesn't tie back specifically to the synagogues, but it goes back to Israel like always.
I'm going to tell you how this ties into
They're
that scandal. You ready? So it's a big scandal, billions of dollars being funneled to Somali daycares and all, and billions, right? And all of a sudden we're just hearing about it now. What? Well, guess what? Let's remember this.
So I came back to see him a few weeks later.
So this is right after 9/11. This is General Wesley Clark talking to people at the Pentagon right after 9/11. And guess what they told him?
And by that time we were bombing in Afghanistan. I said, are we still going to war with Iraq? And he said, oh, it's worse than that. He said, he reached over on his desk, he picked up a piece of paper, and he said, I just got this down from upstairs, meaning the Secretary of Defense's office today, and he said, this is a memo that describes how we're going to take out 7 countries in 5 years, starting with Iraq and then Syria, Lebanon, Libya, Somalia, Sudan, and
I made that joke about like we're gonna probably end up back over there with like weird foundations saying we're gonna help an area that needs to be help for destabilization. And so we got like foundations like the Hillary Clinton Foundation and all that shit because stupid shit like that loves giving back to black babies because people love these fucking stealing children from out there.
finishing off Iran.
Dude, this is fucking weird.
I knew something was
weird. Why is it always Haiti? And that's why.
What? Somalia? Why would we be going into Somalia? What the heck is that about? Okay, so here's a guy. This is Madi Shoshani, and he's the host of TBN Israel.
This dude screams, you can't be a voice in Israel anyway without having, you know what I mean? You listen, it's like CCP shit, it's commie shit. So he's going to say some kind of lie. I'm pretty sure this is the dude, isn't he the one that faked being shot or some shit on the ground?
And here's what he's going to tell you that you don't know about the Somali
pretty sure he's one of the people from like
scam.
Tel Aviv or whatever a couple years back of fake being shot.
How is the Israeli Mossad related to the recent corruption that was discovered in Minnesota? You're not going to believe it, but there actually is a substantial connection, and it runs through the Israeli Prime Minister office. I'll start from the end. Israel just established relationships with Somaliland, which is not Somalia. But the backstory to the whole Minnesota corruption story is that much of those funds, and again, I think the initial number that came out is about $9 billion. Again, this is crazy. American taxpayer money of, let's say, $15 billion that they imagine were stolen or misdiverted from public funds. About $9 billion of those were sent back to support terrorism, or what they would call the Muslim Brotherhood actions, and this is tied into Qatar. And Israel, of course, was behind the scenes, and I know people love these conspiracies, in leaking some of the information that is responsible or related to the funding of terrorism using that exact money. So the fact that Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu has a phone call and recognizes Somaliland is tied into Qatar being a supporter of the Muslim Brotherhood.
They want us to hate Muslims so badly. I'm so sick of the PSYOP already. Like, I've met more Muslims I get along with than anything than these fucking people, bro. Like,
into the Somali funds that were stolen in Minnesota, funding terrorism in the Middle East. That is a story that came out right now. It really...
And Hezbollah and all that shit, like I called it too. This is just a weird way to support underground acts that all these places don't want to pay for. They're all secretly actually all Israel running counter PSYOP on their own country. Just like what they did to Maduro and shit, like, dude. Without, like, they had the counter ops down there fucking running drug cartels. pretending to be
blows
them.
my mind how global
Which is it?
terrorism-
Is it him being them, paying them, being a bad actor, or is it them being them to be them? Of course, it's the CIA. The CIA is always the bad fucking guy, the terrorist.
works, but it's such an amazing thing that it was uncovered, and I'm sure there's more news to come on this topic.
Okay, so here's where Gen X girl comes in. She says the timing, who benefits from amplifying a scandal now that was uncovered back in 2020?
They want everything on that Suez Canal.
Because it was.
I swear to God, it has to do something with that.
Isn't that weird? So,
Then they want the parallel. Wait, didn't they say they wanted to build some kind of weird, like, their own version of the Suez Canal going through Israel to this way? To try to, like, you know, one up this thing?
links to this. She says,
Hold
so
on.
how beneficial...
Okay, I'm going to botch the pronunciation of this, but Ben Gurion Canal is what they were going to try doing. It's going to be like the Suez Canal. I was right with that. And I think this is why they want to do it. Because if you look at this map on what's going on over here, because Gulf of Qatar and all that shit, and you got Somalia in these things. Huh. Wouldn't it look right through there? You got this right here.
think it is for Americans to be outraged at Somalis right now when Israel wants the U.S. government to support its effort to break up Somalia into two countries, where Israel has a military base and is really in the Israel-backed portion of Somalia, which is called Somaliland. Wait, what? Yeah. Yeah. So there's a big idea that they want to send the Palestinians to Somalia, but not the Somalia, but the Somaliland, which, by the way, they've been talking about Somaliland. Who has the Zionist?
Do you see Somaliland right here? Is he Somalia? Doesn't this seem like a page book we've all seen? A page from the playbook? Forget what's going on over there in Israel. Like, you gotta take the actual people that live in the same place and just put them in a smaller area, and just slowly probably make that smaller. They want this. They want this right here. They want this to be a thing, so they can over trump these people getting through any whatever land, waterways they got over here that gets inland.
For 80 years.
I can
This is not a new thing. So here, notice how quiet suddenly it got about that huge Epstein drop that's getting dipped wholesale into a vat of black ink as we speak.
Hold on 1 second. Go back to that map real quick. Yeah, so I was right with what I was looking at when I said that Suez Canal right here. They want to make their own that goes through through Israel, but they want to go through it this way. They want to make this big fucking crazy thing that makes no fucking sense.
For 80 years. This is not a new thing. So here, notice how quiet suddenly it got about.
Because you know why? They don't get an original idea. They saw what fucking Gaddafi did, and they're like, I want to bring water to them. I can bring water.
About that huge Epstein drop that's getting dipped wholesale into a vat of black ink as we speak. Gen X, 100%. So they're about to pull out more distractions than a magician at a child's birthday party.
Oh, this is a distraction.
So Israel says Mossad was behind the Somali fraud story. Really?
100% agree with that. I knew something. I felt, I don't know, man. It just seemed really weird. Just how the bad, and then you find out that Nick Shirley kid's been to Israel, like all of them. And he's just like, basically Nick Shirley's just a carbon copy of that Jake Oliver kid from 3 months ago. They're all part of that little, what do they call it, casting network. They all do it. They get the call, they get the thing. You got to run the psyop. Distraction plan after distraction plan. They were getting us primed. I've been saying this for weeks, ever since the Charlie Kirk thing. They were getting us primed to that whole Maduro thing. And it's going to get even worse. There's going to be something even crazier, I feel, coming after that. I feel like that's just the beginning of what's going on. And you got this. And look, this dude, like I'm telling you, I'm pretty sure, if I really, I can't find it because I'm on the video already and I don't feel like pausing for a thing, I'm going out. He's the dude that was in one of the videos from like a couple years back, not the shooting with all the raver kids getting shot over in there. No, the October 7th. No, the one before that. He like took selfies in the ground or some shit.
Causes mass outrage in the United States. Boy, has it. Israel claims money going to terrorism. Israel claims Qatar is behind it. Israel built military site in Somaliland. Israel recognized Somaliland, breaking Somalia into two rivals. So that just happened.
They're doing exactly what they're doing with like Gaza and the West Bank and shit.
Where Israel recognized Somaliland. Isn't that something? Israel built advanced military facilities in Somalia? No, in Somaliland. Satellite images reveal that Israel built an advanced military facility at the Berbera Airport in Somaliland. The United Arab Emirates has developed a strong military presence at this airport since 2017. So you see how they're all
Great
working
place to trade a bunch
together?
of people. Middle of
Just like
nowhere.
ISIS and Al-Qaeda is working with the Mossad, Israel, and the CIA.
It's one big game, no one's invited.
Just like Benjamin Netanyahu begged Qatar to fund Hamas. Do you see how they're all working together? They have military bases in the same Somaliland, Qatar, and Israel? What? So do you see this game that's happening now? I hope you do. Velastian says, if you said this before, you'd have been called anti-Semitic conspiracy theorist. Israel media, Mossad has been involved in paving the way for breakaway Somaliland for years. Behind Israel's recognition of Somaliland, years of quiet Mossad involvement. Israel becomes the first UN member to recognize Somaliland as a sovereign state, drawing condemnation from Somalia, from Turkey, and Egypt. The move reflects strategic interests near Houthi-controlled areas and years of quiet Mossad engagement. Really? No kidding. And by the way, when Israel recognizes you, how they are recognizing Somaliland, when they recognize you, it's kind of like when a mountain lion sees you. It just means that they're coming for you next.
Yes and no. It means they probably already have a lion in the wolf's den. Something fucked up.
That's what that means.
It's like a Rickism.
So here, Mark Dubowitz says, for those mocking why Israel would engage Somaliland, look at the map. Somaliland sits on the Gulf of Aden, next to the Bab el-Mandeb, a choke point for global trade and
That bump
energy.
things to go. Israel wants to go the other way around.
Across the water are Iran-backed Houthis firing on Israel and shipping. Somaliland offers stability. It offers ports, intelligence access, and a non-Iranian platform on the Red Sea. Similar reasons why the U.S. has a military base in Djibouti. Really?
In Djibouti.
Okay. There it is.
There's Djibouti. There's a little booty hole.
Somaliland. Somalia. Somaliland. There's Yemen.
America. United States of America.
Those are the people who were bombing Israeli
London.
boats
The city of
because
London.
Israel's committing a genocide against the Palestinians. So the people in Yemen, the Houthis in Yemen, are doing what the rest of the world should be doing. Sanctioning Israel over a genocide it's committing. But they're not. Of course they're not. Of
That
course
place
they're
sounds
not.
made up. Puntland.
So there it is. Somaliland is Israel's 80-year-old project. The project was called Harar
Hey,
Council.
see, I was right. It's like 80
The
years.
34-page documents on his link tree, linked in bio. So what does this say? Here, I'll just read a little bit to you. My proposal is to unite the so-called Harar territory of Ethiopia with parts of the British Somaliland and create there a state for the European Jews. This territory is large enough. It would be easy to devote 60,000 to 70,000
They want
square
it usually
miles
too.
there for this purpose. This territory is inhabited by a small agricultural population who are not likely to raise great difficulties, unlike the Palestinians. Nevertheless, it will be necessary to remember the lessons learned by the Palestine experience. namely to prevent the territory being overrun by people from other parts of Ethiopia and to keep out foreign agitators, like Palestinians. There were the foreign agitators in Palestine. The climate on the plateau is absolutely healthy and suitable for Europeans. Those parts of the Somali coast which have a bad climate could be improved in measurable time by irrigation. So there you go. Politically, these territories belong, as already stated, to Great Britain and the Empire of Ethiopia. In July of
these other names, the
1935,
corporation of these countries, that's a sign of like
British
takeover
government
right there.
proposed to the Emperor of Ethiopia that the port of Zilia and certain other
these
parts of
places sound
British
so made up.
Somaliland be ceded to him if he were prepared to make
I know they're
certain
real, but like-
concessions to Italy. It is therefore not impossible that the
Zilia.
British government may today be ready to cede a rather larger portion of Somaliland together with the port of Berbera to the
Somaliland.
European Jewish state we have in mind. So it was all
They already had, like I said, there you go. They didn't need Israel. They could give up Israel and go to this little thing.
already not going well for Israel and Palestine in 1935, and they were looking to go to Somaliland. Well, now it seems like they're looking to send all the Palestinians to Somaliland, where they already have military bases and Qatar.
Yay, more internment camps.
That's what it
all I hear.
kind of looks like. That's all I'm saying. Kind of looks that way. And the Somali fraud story will blaze all the headlines and obscure the entire
wanted this with
narrative
pitchforks.
of resettling the Palestinians to Somalia. This is the magician's trick, twirling around while the magician sets up the trick. This is the magician's assistant twirling around while the magician sets up the trick. It's all smoke and mirrors, and it's so glaringly obvious. There it is.
Yeah.
There it is.
The media,
Gen X girl goes.
this media skewing of all this. And then, like, it goes to show me, like, which people I was following before, though, who are also a part of this whole bullshit. Because, like, going there, and a lot of these people don't realize that, like, if you kind of preach one narrative and then you're just going to show up at schools filming them because you have insecurities of, like, actually what's reality, or you're being played for a fool.
Goes on. Everyone's outraged over the Somalia scam, understandably. But where is the outrage over Trump's pardons of wealthy criminals who scammed billions from Medicare? So we've already covered this. No one cared about this. That as they're
Good point. That's
people
a great way to
stole
put it.
billions of dollars from Medicare. Trump pardoned them. Why? Well, one of them was at the behest of Israel for sure. This one here, Philip S. Teformis. He bilked $1.3 billion from Medicaid. He got a full pardon from Trump. So now we're supposed to care about $9 billion. Everybody's outraged, and rightly so. But nobody was upset that Trump pardoned a guy who stole $1.3 billion from Medicare.
That's a big heist.
And Medicare. No one cared about that, but everybody cares about the $9 billion in Minnesota. Isn't that weird? It's weird that no one cares about this. There's another guy, $1.7 billion.
Nicole the Corporation.
There's another guy, 660.
Well-
four.
That BitMEX, if it... There's the only one that probably sounds like a Chinese company to me, but the rest of these all sound like escrow forms, Nikola, GBP Holdings.
$4.3 billion.
This is David Gentile.
HDR Global, $100 million, 1.2. So there you go. So there you go. So now you know a little bit more about the story. Do you really think that this just broke now? That they didn't know about this? Project Veritas, I'm pretty sure, broke this story in 2020 about the daycare centers in Minnesota. Joe Biden's Justice Department was investigating it. I think they might have even prosecuted some people. Don't hold me to that. But so now you know the rest of the story. Well, here's what this guy has to say.
About the Somali fraud in Minnesota, USA. I really think people need to start seeing the bigger picture here. Do you really believe that some Somali people living there in Minneapolis could get away with defrauding the state for, say, $9-10 billion?
That's exactly what I was getting at. You can't steal. Not even $1 million, even a couple million, dude. They pick up on that shit, especially because they involve schools and shit. They're gonna go check that. You have a what's it called an informer or whatever you want to call it, agent at the door, searching the place. You have even an IRS agent show up and just start doing that too, running through all your papers. Then they can show you that made up dude to make them look really bad. Oh yeah, magically he reported a theft and only his paperwork was stolen. That's just theater to me. It's like smoke detectors in every video. Some of them are real now, and now the rest aren't. A lot of them aren't real. They just put them in the background to piss people off and re-uploading the videos from the original ones.
A year.
They're doing shit to fuck with people though. Make
my
everybody.
answer
They know
would be
what
no.
pisses
I don't
all
think
us
they
off.
could be doing that without help from the deep state.
Of course not. Washington, D.C. is totally involved in this and not only allowed it to happen, but made it happen. So that's because Israel recently recognized Somaliland, part of Somalia, as an independent state. Why would Israel do so? Well, they need a place to deport the Palestinians to. But you don't just get a piece of land where you can deport 2 million people to. You have to pay for it. And that's what this is. The U.S. is the greatest ally of Israel. Remember, the United States citizens, middle-class people, taxpayers, are going to pay for that. This whole scam, the Somali care system scam, whatever, to me looks like an annual rental agreement where the U.S. taxpayer is now forced to pay $10 billion a year to the Somali elites, to Al-Shabaab, the terrorist organization, and so on, in exchange for a piece of land where Israel can then deport the Palestinians to. Your whole government is corrupt, okay? And this is just Somalia. Imagine what the USA is doing with India. Imagine how much money you're bleeding to India.
So that comes from this guy, Johannes M. Cohenbratt, and he wrote a Substack called "Is the FBI Investigating or Organizing the Somali Fraud?" Well, here's what he said. I find it hard to believe that Somalia could pull this off on their own.
Exactly.
Where no one else could.
IQ
How come Mexicans or Puerto Ricans never could do this? Are Somalis with their average IQ below 70?
Yo, I just said that. I didn't even read that. I didn't even fucking read that. I just know that off my head. And I'm not even trying to be mean. It's just they literally go watch any videos over there. Yeah, you'll find some people there, book smart and stuff, but a lot of them are like opium users in like Iraq or something. Like they're just like fucking Rust characters looking for a base.
Geniuses that only they could pull off such a massive fraud and apparently get away with it fairly undetected ever since Obama sent Somalis to Minnesota in 2014. At the same time, as I said, Israel recently became the first country worldwide to recognize Somaliland, a breakaway region of the northwest of Somalia, as a sovereign nation.
They had to pay a lot of money to do that. A long time. It was not even money, just a lot of time. See, it leads to the Suicide Watch.
This raised my suspicion. Why would Israel care to recognize some breakaway region as a sovereign nation? Well, for starters, Somaliland is close to the Gulf of Aden, the entry point into the Red Sea, which leads up to the Suez Canal. This gulf is one of the crucial linchpins supplying the West with international trade coming out of India and China overseas. Apparently funded by the United Arab Emirates, Israel is already building military bases in Somalia.
They already have them there. He just read that a lot. He said they were already talking about it 80 years ago. They got bases there, believe me. I mean, they're not going to tell us. They're like black sites, I bet. This, though, this is, you remember the Mauritania, what the fuck it's called, the Everlast, or the fucking called, the fucking green cargo ship that blocked up the Suez Canal for like, what, a couple days? That fucked up a bunch of logistics. If Israel is going to own land at the cap of it, that, I wouldn't. Dude, like, one of their motto has the word deceive in it. Like, they're going to fucking do some counter ops and there's like, all the cargo ships are just going to start just sinking over there.
Holy Land. The U.S. has bases in neighboring Djibouti.
I like it's
The
hilarious.
location near the Gulf of Aden appears only extra crucial vis-a-vis the incessant attacks coming out of Yemen across the Gulf, where the Houthi rebels have been using Iranian or even Chinese-backed drone systems to attack the U.S. Navy's, Israel's, and NATO's vessels. The cheap rebel drones have been wreaking a ton of...
Hey, where did Israel get all this technology from? Like, we really gotta hold these guys for war crimes. They steal our fucking actual tech, and they always either sell it to the Chinese, which they've been caught multiple times selling Israeli soldier fucking or ex. It's usually someone who joins our military. It's not even just like, yeah, of course they're in the IDF because they all have to serve, but they end up coming here and they go and serve. They pretend to be a dual citizen bullshit, and they steal shit and they go fucking give it away to China or Russia. The one they always say, they always give it to someone, not us.
of havoc, and
Or they use it for themselves if it's too good.
also made the West lose some faith since its super advanced systems are no match against...
Where did all the uranium go? If you look, there's like a case. There's like 100 pounds of the uranium that goes missing, or it's not 100,000 pounds or some shit. It was a ridiculous amount. I say 100. I think it was way more than 100. Just a bunch of uranium and shit, or plutonium. One of those two missing. I don't believe in nukes. I don't believe they're going to use it for anything deadly. But like, it's not good to give those guys anything.
against the primitive sticks and stones being
Because
thrown
you're
at
a
it.
friend, you can ask for it.
But one does not
Just ask
simply
if you need it,
acquire
if
a
you're your
piece of
friend.
land the size of a country, not without war or without bribery. To secure Somaliland in the ever-complexifying geopolitical struggle for Western dominance, Israel and its greatest ally, the USA, if not Britain, would have to have offered the Somali elites something of...
Why don't the Somalians ever try to get their own shit? Oh wait, because they're always being counter-opped by like Israel and us and other people to fucking never be able to to form a correct government to help their society. This is fucking not fair. Oh man, so I would come to America too.
value.
Did not deal with
And that's
this.
how I made the connection to the Somali fraud cases in Minnesota. Wait, did Obama really send Somalis to Minnesota in 2014? Yes, he did. The problem was neither the USA
Yeah,
nor
he did.
Israel
Remember
could be
that?
seen bribing Somali elites to give up Somaliland.
You remember that actually during Obama, he was because I was during the drone striking period when he really after his first year, after the second one when he came in, he made gay shit happen. He started drone striking a lot, and he just started letting in all all the brown people, all of them started coming in, all of them went, but Somalia, because this is around the same time Hillary Clinton and all of them were doing that weird shit with the weird fucking the foundations and the kids going missing. Oprah was doing the same shit over there.
So I think the whole migration of people to Minnesota served as a payment scheme, perhaps a rental scheme. The people who would later commit massive fraud against U.S. authorities were being shipped in under Obama, but this doesn't let Trump off the hook. Trump, the narcissist, is more concerned about winning his Nobel Peace Prize, which Israel's Netanyahu personally promised him to get. Trump seems controlled by Israeli interests, you think? What I find hilarious, though, is that the U.S. ruling circles chose to do a fraud scheme to the benefit of terrorist organizations such as al-Shabaab in Somalia. Why didn't they just give the Somali leaders some theme parks, land...
The Clinton Foundation isn't itself the primary driver of the Somali policy, but rather the Clinton administration, extensive efforts led by then Secretary of State Hillary Clinton in the late 2000s. Focus on rebuilding Somalia's government, providing aid agency, and al-Shabaab. Also support development after years. This country's gotten worse with time. So, I don't know. They come up with these nice MLM fucking names, and they brainwash the countries into thinking they're helping. It's literally the foundation. You think they're gonna help people, and they always do it wrong. They fucked these people all the time. The early 90s, Clinton Foundation, during that, and then early 2000s. These people are fucking, and we're going to go back there, watch. They're going to go right back there. Even with all the bullshit they're dealing with right now.
parks or skyscrapers. I guess that too much of U.S. real estate has already been promised to Arabs, Russians, and Chinese investors. They're running out of options to bribe foreign partners unless they start taking the money directly out of the social services coffers. Yes, in short, I believe the Somalis that Obama brought in were henchmen. And I believe these henchmen were given free rein by both Washington, D.C. and the FBI to commit.
Well, like I just said, he's talking about Al-Shabaab right now. And as we just seen, yeah, it was Obama, but like it's Hillary Clinton and fucking what's it called, foundation? Oh my god, I just said the other one. Both of them. So like it was Hillary. Oh yeah, it says the Clinton administration.
Fraud. And no, I don't think the FBI director, Kash Patel, is going to do anything about it because the FBI isn't investigating the fraud. The FBI is organizing it. So that's that guy's theory. No, I can't vouch for the veracity.
I don't know where they found Kash Patel, but he's a good actor
did.
at first. But like, actions speak louder than words, and when like if they can't run counter op to at least make him look like he's doing something, then like there's one thing that took our job to like really pay attention to is like if people do their job, he's not doing his job.
These theories, but it certainly is interesting. There's definitely a connection between the.
You know, they're not really deporting anyone like they're supposed to. And if you look at the numbers, they're like, yeah, we're deporting people. There's still 400 negative on the actual like to make a headway instead of like being 400 or 600 or 400 plus or something. They're negative, so there's still like people coming in. But they're just filming it all now. Like I said, when they start filming things like that, it's propaganda. They're trying to rally you up. Just like they're showing you this stuff. They wouldn't even... They might make a news report because, like I said, real news is boring and bland because it doesn't play to a fucking side or anything most of the time. Unless, like, you got Tweaker talking about it. But, like, dude... They're just...
Fraud of Somalian people in Minnesota with... Israel recognizing Somaliland and wanting to get the Palestinians to Somalia. There's
actually think about all the things we're hitting right now. We're going back down to the South America. We're fucking with those guys again. We're going over to the like top part of Africa. Almost fucking around into the Middle East again. And then, like, what do we do with China? There's so much land in China, and we don't do anything with China. China don't do shit with any of their land. I don't, like I said, they came out with their, like, what they said the population size. It's like 500,000 now. It's not the 6 billion they lie about, the 2 billion or the number. All that's a lie. It's just like everything. Everything's a lie. It's a fear tool to make us feel like we're overcrowded, poor, well, that when you can't, and hungry. Because of why everybody fucking, that's why they make everybody eat all the time.
Definitely a connection.
Kash Patel. Like, what is that fucking name? Why can't we have a white guy fucking running our government? Or someone with a name like, Craig Smith. Fuck.
There's definitely a connection there. Come see me on tour, Jen.
I had to make a video over that. Sorry for eating the beginning. I just had to do it before I leave. I'm telling you, we're going back there just so these people... We've been there the whole fucking time, and like they had the bases there. They're just trying to make the internment camp in a different place so no one can see it. Because they control all of what comes out of Somaliland. They don't call. They can still get shit out of Palestine and stuff. They can still get videos out. They can send drones over there from the Iraqis and stuff. People can do things with military. That's a lot of water to cover and get it over and get it to float without getting shot down. Because you know that's what they've been doing is set up some kind of iron dome over there too. I wonder what crazy fucking bunkers they got out there. That's probably where they're gonna run out to. And then all this done out. That Somaliland shit. People gotta keep their eye open on that bitch. Can you even visit that place? Like, did they have, like, planes you can take there? I wonder if it's cheap. It's probably expensive. Probably just to keep, like, the non-juicies out. Have a good day.